The rain had been falling steadily over Manchester all day, turning the cobbled streets into glistening mirrors of neon lights. I wasn't supposed to be there. I'd taken a last-minute trip for work, a conference that left me drained and restless. All I wanted that evening was a quiet drink before catching the late train back home. The bar I stumbled into was tucked away in the northern quarter, the kind of place with dim lighting, jazz humming low, and a mix of strangers seeking shelter from the storm. I slid onto a stool, ordered a whiskey, and tried to convince myself I didn't mind being alone. That's when she walked in. Her coat was soaked, her hair dripping in loose waves, but she carried herself with a kind of grace that made the whole room shift. She scanned the bar, her eyes catching mine for the briefest moment, and something in my chest tightened. She didn't look away. "Looks like we both picked the wrong night to forget an umbrella," she said as she settled onto the stool beside me. Her voice was warm, with that soft Manchester lilt that wrapped around me like music. I smiled. "Or maybe the right night. Depends on who you end up sitting next to." She laughed, a sound that cut through the rain's monotone outside. "I'm Emma." "James." We clinked glasses like old friends, though we were strangers. And somehow, in that small, rain-soaked bar, time slowed down. We talked until the bartender wiped down the counters and hinted it was closing time. About her job at a local gallery, about my restless travels, about books, music, and why the rain in Manchester felt different from anywhere else. She had this way of listening that made me want to tell her everything, even things I usually kept locked away. When we finally stepped outside, the storm had softened to a drizzle. She pulled her coat tighter, and without thinking, I offered mine. She shook her head, smiling. "I'll be fine. But walk me home." So we did, through quiet streets that glowed under street lamps, our footsteps echoing on wet pavement. At her door, we lingered. The night air was cold, but the space between us burned. "I don't usually do this," she whispered. "Neither do I admitted. And then our lips met, tentative at first, then urgent, as if we'd both been waiting far too long for this moment. It wasn't just a kiss. It was a collision, fierce and inevitable. The days that followed blurred into something neither of us expected. I delayed my trip home. She introduced me to her city, the canals, the markets, the hidden corners where Manchester hummed with life. We laughed in coffee shops, kissed in the rain, held each other as if we were afraid the world might end if we let go. But the truth lingered, unspoken. I didn't live there. My life was somewhere else. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, Emma looked at me with eyes that seemed to see straight through the bravado I carried. "This feels like something bigger," she said softly. "But can something bigger survive the distance?" I didn't have an answer. All I knew was that when her hand slipped into mine, I didn't want to ever let it go. That night, lying beside her, the city lights painting her skin gold, I realized the truth. Sometimes love doesn't wait for the perfect timing, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect plan. Sometimes, it crashes into you, unexpected and unstoppable, and leaves you changed forever. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe the distance will break us. Maybe it won't. But when hearts collide in Manchester, they leave behind sparks, and those sparks, I know, will never die.